Alright. Welcome to 7th episode of the homeworking adventure. Done with work for the day. So I'm gonna crack on with another one for you guys. Music. Music's a big thing in my life. I wouldn't have the friends that I have now if it wasn't for my music. I wouldn't even be in the relationship I am now if it wasn't for music. It had something to do with it. It's a massive part of my life. I dedicate a lot of my time to music. I can't go anywhere without making sure that I've got my phone for streaming music and some headphones. Can't do it. The idea of silence is awful. There needs to be music in my head at all times, just to sort of silence the voices. You know what I'm talking about. So, in order to give you a broad idea as to what kind of music I'm into, I've just sort of selected 10 albums that are my favourites. They're not necessarily my 10 favourite albums. They are just 10 albums I've chosen that give you a broad idea as to what kind of music I'm into. Mainly sort of metal and prog and the mixing of those two things. But I'm going to go through some of them now. Hopefully I'm going to try and work out how to play some music. Not the genuine versions, some kind of sort of rough, different versions. And hopefully that's been playing throughout the video. So let's get cracking. First album is The Dark Saga by Iced Earth. It's a strong, steady, heavy metal album. Good old classic, head-banging heavy metal stuff, but not frightened to chuck in the odd sort of quieter passage. It's an actual concept album about the comic book character Spawn. Anyone's read any of that? It's dark, it's evil, it's spawns from hell. What more do you want? Metal and hell go hand in hand, and they work together in perfect harmony. That's a different song, but it's a great album. It's a strong album, steady album. If I was to give it some marks, obviously I've only chosen my favourite music, so most of them are going to be high marks. I'm not going to choose my favourite albums and give it it's 2. I'm not weird expectations from the music. If I'm expecting it's my favourite, but it's only 2 out of 10. So I'm on my head there. But this one, it's not massively progressive. It's just a classic old heavy metal album. So it's a good 8 out of 10 for me. Next is not a metal album as per se. It's a rock album. It's a grunge album by one of the 4 big grunge bands. It's by Pearl Jam. 10 by Pearl Jam. It's their debut album and it is amazing. I went through a big grunge phase just before I got into heavy metal. There was the grunge sort of transition, and this is my favourite grunge album. I know a lot of people are going to go, "Whoa, never mind, Nirvana." Yeah, absolutely fine. I feel there's, for me, not a huge amount of musicality that's gone into Nirvana and into Nevermind. It's a great album, got a lot of feeling, and it's it's almost it's descended from a punk age. But 10 Pearl Jam is just amazing. Got great songs like Once and Even Flow and Jeremy and things like that. Alive is obviously a very big one as well. It's a great album. The songs have got stories to them, real deep and depth stories. Jeremy is literally about a school shooting, about a kid who was left out in a school shooting. That's what it's about. If you like songs about school shootings, Jeremy's got to be up there as one of the best. Just saying, maybe I'll do a video on the best songs about school shootings. I don't know if there's more than 10, but we'll go with that. Anyway, it's a great grunge album. It's my favourite and probably one of the best ones. Is it too easy to give 10 out of 10, all of the 10s? Who knows? It's my opinion. So, maybe 9 out of 10 for 10. Confusing, I know, sorry. Moving on. Let's go up to do this one here. We're going to go straight into some prog. Classic 70s prog. Was it 80s? I think this is more 80s actually. We're going to talk about the band Rush. Obviously quite poignant at the moment, obviously after the death of Neil Peart. But it's an album that I don't think is as highly rated as it should be. It's Signals. Signals is one of my favourites, if not my favourite Rush album. It is a lovely, it's a transitional album for them. They've kind of moved away a bit from, they're not away, but they're staying in the prog phase, but they're moving into a heavy synth phase, so it's drenched in synthesizer. Songs like Subdivisions and Chemistry and Countdown, amazing stuff. Countdown is literally about a spaceship taking off. Kids love spaceships, so good for family friendly. But yeah, and it's got a poignant song about called "Losing It," which is about people people who, like, I think it's about Ernest Hemingway. One section's about Ernest Hemingway, about how they got to an age where they couldn't do what they were so famous for, and they were clinging on to it, and their body wasn't letting them do it anymore. They were getting old, mind and body was not working. It's beautiful. It's an amazing album. I've only seen Rush once in my life, and Subdivisions, the first song on Signals, was the song I opened with. So I always have that as a lovely moment in my head. I'm going to give that a good 8 out of 10. I'm not saying it's my favourite Rush album. I just want to be in there. It's easy to go, everyone's going to pick Moving Pictures. Everyone picks Moving Pictures. I just went different. I'm going to go with Signals on this one. Okay? Shoot me. Don't shoot me. And I've just chosen a Rush album, so it has to shoot me as a result of that. But there you go. An opinion. Just an opinion. I should say that. These are all opinions, not facts. Or I am willing to fight anyone who disagrees with me. Back to the metal. Thrash was my entrance into metal. I picked a couple of thrash albums today. First one I'm going to cover is one that pretty much every thrash metal fan is going to have. It's Rust in Peace by Megadeth. Absolutely, just it's as if, the weird thing is, I think I saw this in a meme, and it's kind of true. It's as if people are continuing to write music as if Rust in Peace doesn't already exist. It's like that's the pinnacle they're reaching, but it's already been reached, guys. Don't compete. It's just a flawless album. Every song on there is a banger. Obviously, you've got your big ones: Holy Wars, Hangar 18. A personal favourite of mine, Tornado of Souls. Absolutely brilliant. And I think they played that last time I saw them. Fantastic. What a track. And that's the classic Megadeth lineup for me, isn't it? What is it? Menza, Ellefson. What's that guy in Megadeth? Mustaine. And the curly-haired one who loves Japan. What's his name? Comments, there be a quiz question. Who's the fourth member of Megadeth? I forgot. It's a 10. Rest in Peace is a 10 out of 10 for me. It's absolutely flawless. I love every track. Move on. Next album. I'm not going to do that one just yet. I might get people angry. Go back to the prog. Let's move back to the 70s prog era. There was a big argument between prog and punk. There was basically, punk was almost, as much as it was one of those to the system. It was one of those to prog, and I think one of the leading exponents as to why people didn't like prog are Yes, and that's why I love them. They are they would, I imagine the writing process is, right, okay, I can't possibly write without being up to my eyeballs in drugs, all sorts of drugs, make sure all the drugs get in the system first, and then we'll start writing. And Yes is the key exponent of that, and the album I've chosen here is Close to the Edge. 3 tracks. There's only 3 tracks on there. It's only about 40 minutes long. One of the songs is about 20 minutes, so half of the album is taken up by one song, and there's only 3 songs on there. Close to the Edge is just one of them mystical, beautiful albums, and You and I always come back to, and it's got some amazing passages in there that just bring a tear to your eye. It's just an amazing album. It's if somebody came to me and says, give me the proggiest thing you have, Close to the Edge or Tales from the Topographic Oceans, those would be albums that I'd hand over and say, that is just sit down, mellow out. I'm not going to advocate the use of drugs because I've never done it myself, but have a lovely cup of tea and listen to some Yes. That is a 9 out of 10 for me. 9. Okay, it's starting to move metal and prog together now. That's what we're going to do with this next one. Dream Theater. I know a lot of people roll their eyes at Dream Theater. Oh, you just got basically 4 of the best musicians and James LeBrie in one album, and you thought, here we go. It's basically a super group without them being in other bands. They were there already. Fine. Okay, fine. But they're great. Some of the stuff they've written is amazing. And I'm going to choose an album which not everyone would choose. I'm not going to say images and words because everyone says that. Again, everyone says that. I don't want to be that guy. So I've gone for the album after it, Awake. It's a bit different. It seems as though they have gone with a heavier sound in this one, I think, than Images and Words. Gone with a grittier. There's some good chuggy riffs and things like Mirror and Lie and Caught in a Web. Some good headbanging riffs in there that I think that the heavier metal fans would be into. And then you've got nicer, more sort of melodic, anthemic songs like Innocence Faded. Great. Lifting Shadows of Dreams, a lovely little mellow, haunting piece. Space Divest. That's about a woman in a magazine. Mental. But I love the band. I've seen them once. Would love to see them again. Awake gets a 9 for me. 9 out of 10. Actually, no. Hang on a second. They're prog. They like to mix it up. I'm going to give them a 10 out of 13. Up there with their strange time signatures. Staying along prog lines, we're going to move on to a band who are just probably a bit more power side of prog. Symphony X. Absolutely love these guys. I've seen them a couple of times, and it's so underrated. Such an underrated band. I don't know a bad album of them. Every band goes through up and down stages. Symphony X is just a straight line, all quality albums. And the one I've chosen for is probably the proggiest of the most is the New Mythology Suite. It's an album. It's a concept album which is about basically sort of I honestly don't really know. Like sort of nations merging and space and like birds and serpents fighting against each other. It's weird, but it's great. It's just, and the opening, the first real track on there, Evolution, is just relentless, and it's one hell of an opening to that album. Egypt, beautiful, very Egyptian obviously in its theming. And then you've got later on Rediscovery Part 2, the closing of the album is brilliant. It's a lovely little summarization of the album. It's great. V is 5 in Roman numerals. Symphony X, X being 10 in Roman numerals. Add them together, what do you get? 15. Can't really get 15 out of 10, can we? So, yeah. Next, going to go back to the thrashness. Metallica. Metallica, probably the first metal band I loved. And one song, that's the dog scratching at the door. Go away, dog. No, dog. I'm talking. And yeah, that's what I thought. Again, I've not chosen Master of Puppets. Everyone will choose Master of Puppets if you're talking about Metallica. No, I'm not doing it. I refuse. And I'm not saying that this album is their best album. It's my favourite. And Justice for All. It's probably their proggiest. Probably why I love it. 1. Any album that has the song 1 on there is automatically one of the greatest albums of all time. It's about a man who gets blown up. What's not to like? Those 3 things. Being blown up, thrash, and it's called 1. Or it has to be the best. If it was called 2, as it was probably the second best. It's not, it's called 1. Brilliant. Genuinely, it's not. I'm not going to give it 1 out of 10. Absolutely no. I'll give it a 9. There's a couple of songs that are a bit iffy, and I know that the drums aren't quite as legitimate as you'd think. Miles, looking at you, boy. It's a 9 out of 10. We've got 2 more albums to go. We're going to move back into a prog metal phase, and my favourite prog metal band of all time, Opeth. I wear the necklace. This O is O for Opeth, and the album I've chosen is A Ghost Reveries. It has got the most haunting music there is. It's, my brother puts this well, it's music for horror movies, I think, Opeth. Some of the, and not just for gore, it's tension, it builds, it's evil. Even gentler passages, they're somewhat sinister. And songs like Ghost Edition, Reverie, Harlequin Forest, Grand Conjuration. Grand Conjuration is satanic. It's awesome. I'm hoping that you guys are going to try out some of these albums, and if you do, the one that you will appreciate the most is Ghost Reveries. It's absolutely fantastic. That's 10 for me. This one, 10. I've got one album left, and it's one that I've been sitting on and ready. It's a complete change. It's not a complete change. It's back to prog, but I love metal, I love prog, but there's one band that I will categorically say is my favourite of all time, and that band is Genesis. That's right. Phil Collins, Mike Rutherford, Tony Banks, Steve Hackett, Peter Gabriel. This one doesn't have Peter Gabriel on it, but A Trick of the Tail, Genesis. I defy anyone to listen to the opening track of Sugar Tell and go, hello. They just be sat there like this, and then suddenly those and oh, this has gotten interesting. Brilliant. It's amazing. I love the album. It's beautiful and it's prog, and it mixes in with beautiful, delicate songs like Entangled and Ripples, and it's got some really good classic rock song like Squonk, really good, apparently based on The Idea of Kashmir. Lovely stuff, and Los Endos is just the greatest album closer there is. Euphoric. That's a 10. In fact, no, that's an 11 out of 10 for me. I know it's not possible, we were discussing it earlier. I'm a maths guy, and I know that you cannot have a numerator higher than a denominator. But in this instance, I'm going for it. 10 out of 11. That's right. You can fight me if you want, and you'll probably beat me up. I'm not strong. But I will still happily be beaten up to a pulp with the idea in my head that I defended Genesis. Okay? We're going to see them in December, provided this virus doesn't kill everyone. They are old. Anyway, there you guys. There we go. I've left a bit of a gap up here so you can kind of sort of see some artwork and maybe some track listings. But that's my 10 favourite albums. I think I've got a thing. Did that one. Yeah. Yes, did them all. Did 10. They're not in any order. They're not necessarily my favourites of all time. They're just some 10 of my favourite albums in the world. There's lots of them. There's lots of albums around. So, and I'm not saying that you have to love them, but if you listen to them, I think you will. I've not chosen anything that's horrible to listen to. Otherwise I wouldn't listen to it, would I? Anyway, it's been fun. It's been a real fun time. I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. It's 7 days on the trot I've done this now. I will be carrying on. I'm not stopping, and it looks like we're going to be here for a long time. So get set. Again, if you want anything that you want me to talk about, give me a shout. Subscribe, like, comment, bell. The bell thing lets you know when I've uploaded a video. Jamierael. I've enjoyed myself today. I love music. Music's my favourite thing in the world, other than sleep. I'll catch you tomorrow. Cheers then.